Actually, this is a little personal anecdote that when I visited my brick and mortar bank branch of one of these 6 state-owned banks, actually the bank teller, or the person, usually there's like you get a number, you go in and then you get a number, waiting to and he's like, you should have gotten here earlier, but you would never be able to beat the silver-haired customers. And also, these days, those who actually do step in the physical bank branch, usually you have a serious matter that you can't even online. Therefore, every customer will need a long time of the banking professional's attention to get it sorted out. So actually, it's almost like, well, this is just a sudden revelation of mine, that nowadays people who actually go to the bank, take their business to a physical bank, are bringing the most complicated analogy here would be surgery to the doctor. Because if it's a small matter, if it's just a minor hiccup or, a cough or a cold kind of thing, metaphorically speaking, we take care of them at home on our smartphone. So it's really fascinating to see that the banking sector is going through changes. And it's not necessarily a ship that some people have been talking about for a long time. So, well, I guess that's promising news.
Yes, yeah. In the meantime, I get to see that for a lot of young people, the reason that they're changing career is not because they don't like the banking industry that much. It's more like after working for 2 years or 3 years, they started to realize where their real talents land. And that's when they decided, maybe I want a more challenging job. Maybe if I can work in outside of working hours for so long, I should try to work in a more competitive industry. Maybe I can try to even start my own business. And instead of looking for or chasing after a very stable job, a very secure job, they want the more challenging, risking, yet more rewarding career, which is why some people see this changing career in this 5-year point.
Yeah, I've also noticed this generational shift in employment. Like New Honglin just said, I think for the older generations who got the job in banks, they would spend their whole career life in the banks. They tend to be more loyal than today's millennial and Gen Zers who are more likely to switch jobs. They have different expectations and also attitudes. They value flexibility and work-life balance in this generation. So these can be also one of the reasons why they're leaving.
Right. And there are some reports out there saying that, there's a change within the personnel's age structure in the banking sector. That is, it's aging. But is that a problem? I would have thought that, everybody would more or less find the most ideal job or fitting job for them according to their circumstance. Do you think that in an industry that has, let's say, the average age would be of people?
I don't think so. To be honest, I think the entire population on Earth is aging in some ways.
Well, not every country. I see your point, though.
Yeah, so in the meantime, we've talked about the evolving stage of banks, and we see that nowadays the banking industry is different from 10 years ago. And we do need someone who has witnessed all the changes, who understands the evolution of the banking industry to work in banks. They would have more numbers on their age than the young people getting into the industry, and I don't see that as a problem. And in the meantime, actually, people who are, some middle-aged people, they might find a stable job more valuable, and that is,
absolutely,
their personal choice as well as sometimes the choice of the banks as well. Yeah, I respect their choices.
Yeah, and can I just remind you, millennials, you guys, or at least the older millennials, you guys are middle-aged. It's like,
and it's okay.
And it's fine. Yeah, I'm just really tired of a lot of this subtle ageism that you just pick up from all these
the course, and I just decided to just, poke that bubble a little bit. And it hurts a little bit, but it's okay. And in today's digital world, the super fast pace of change has become the new constant and transforming our career landscape in front of our very eyes. And we find ourselves in a world where lifelong learning is not just an option, but actually it is a necessity. And the most valuable skill is the ability to evolve and adapt. And we'll be back after this break. How are you? What's on your mind? Let's have a heart-to-heart on Roundtable. Ask us anything. We'll help you answer it. Send a voice memo to ezfmroundtable@foxmail.com. We'll play your question on Roundtable, then talk through it on the live chat. Take care. We can't wait for heart-to-heart with you.
Looking for passion? How about fiery space? Want to hear about current events in China from different perspectives? Then tune in to Roundtable.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roundtable. Coming to you live from Beijing. Roundtable.
Connecting China and the world.
We bring you fun and timely discussions about what's affecting our lives everywhere, every day. Tune in to Roundtable, where the East meets the West, and understanding is the goal.
Discussion keeps the world turning. This is Roundtable.
You're listening to Roundtable with myself, He Young. I'm joined by Neil Helen and Singy in the studio. Coming up, get ready to decipher the universal secrets and spice up your cosmic curiosity. We explore why today's youth is embracing age-old practices of fortune-telling in the digital era. We'll see beyond the crystal ball and ask what insecurities might be steering them towards seeking insight into the cosmos of their future. And a special Motivational Monday coming your way will give you that adrenaline shot for the start of the week. Our podcast listeners can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcasts. If you have questions that you want us to answer on social issues, business, technology, or whatever moves your spirit, you can send those our way. There's a place to do it, ezfmroundtable@foxmail.com. Emails are fine, but voice memos is always better. We'd really appreciate it if you could include your name and region of residence in that voice memo. And now on Roundtable, as we move on to our next topic of discussion. From horoscopes to tarot cards to palmistry, the younger generation exhibits a keen interest in peering into their future and seeking good fortune. Recent data reveals that young people are increasingly the main clientele for fortune-telling services. I thought young people are supposed to be young, smart, with new ideas and everything, and tell me how come they're defying, well, my expectation. Well, surprisingly, an increasing number of these young people, they're seeking fortune-telling online, and they're exploring a wide range of practices. Things like getting tarot readings on video platforms, or check a week's fortune and luck from astrologers on social media platforms, or have one-on-one fortune-telling sessions on short video platforms. Some would forward the image of so-called lucky pictures. The other day I saw this blogger said that this certain picture can bring you good luck, and over 50,000 people forwarded the picture for good luck, and that picture was a golden potato. Why golden? That person loves chips. In my defense, forwarding something is just costless, so might as well,
Okay, accepted. And there's also an app through which you can move the electronic prayer beads. For some people they use this physical prayer beads, but now I guess we have everything electronic. And according to data from Qimai, a mobile app data analysis platform, there are as many as 227 apps dedicated to fortune telling, astrology, feng shui, which is an ancient Chinese way of arranging buildings, objects in space in a harmonious way, and also name predictions. And there you can find quite a variety of fortune-telling content from major Chinese short video platforms. For instance, on a video streaming platform like Bilibili, among the top 5,000 videos related to divination, the highest view count exceeds 3 million. And the hashtag tarot test on Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, it has accumulated over 2 billion views across 100,000 videos. And now this has grown into a huge market.
Yes, indeed. And it's big business. In the olden days, it was I would think, like a shabby, dark room tucked away in a little alleyway or whatnot. But now, it's so not that. Everything's digital. Everything's at your fingertips.
Yeah, which is why we see the majority of this business being young people, because many of them are born into technology and internet, and they have all these different means to have access to this kind of service.
Yeah. And right before the show, this girl has gone wild with her research, and she surprised me with so many examples from really mad to downright madness, if I may say, of just the wide array of different types of fortune telling, or sometimes it's just people seeking good fortune and good luck.
Yeah, let me start with the less mad one. That is for some of my friends, they would buy 5 or 6 different kind of bracelets to wear every day. Well, actually 5 together, not every day. Not having one pick for the day and then change to another. They have all 5 on their wrist, and just, it's pretty, but apparently each one means different things. One is good luck for career, one is for your romantic relationship, one is for the health of the entire family, which I would like to borrow or even buy. That's just the entry level. And some of my friends would go and, have a really, really small practice of worshiping in, for example, a place with a Buddha or a place with different kinds of super power, and when they pray for their good luck to whatever matter they have, they would, inside their heart, read out their ID number, which is basically their social security number, making sure that the big one out there would give blessings to the right person. And also, one of my friends working in IT industry actually told me that they would even sometimes have a server enlightenment ritual, that is to enshrine or, indulge with positive and lucky power to the server they first started to use.
Wow.
Computer server is a ridiculous
staff.
But it's funny.
Okay, it is funny.
It is funny. And
much.
For most of them, if not 100%, they would think or treat this as a fun and lucky and positive energy attracting kind of process, instead of truly and 100% believing in that this practice would bring them absolute good luck.
Right. So, tell me though, how is money being made out of, all these chases and pursuits of just turning your luck around?
I think a bit like this not brick and mortar, this fortune tellers you would person, they will charge you the money. And on social media platform or short video platforms too, especially for these one-on-one consultations, you have to pay the money. And sometimes they would say, oh, to ward off this evil spirit and bring you some good luck, you have to buy this and that. And these small items or blessings or objects, you have to pay for these too. So I think that's how they get the money. And also in some of the apps, you have to pay like less than 10 yuan, 9.9 yuan for a certain report on your astrology thing or your zodiac signs to read about your relationship or your career. So yeah.
And when it comes to the young, smart, full of new idea young people, they're not.
Sarcasm is thick in the air.
They are not just, going online searching for such business and spend their money. They are creating their own business. So for those of you who believe that the one you're consulting is some kind of master in telling your fortune, they might just be a university student working online to earn some pocket money. Because I know for a fact that this college student has seen the popularity of this fortune telling, and he decided to be a fortune teller himself, and he started a career. And apparently she would sell crystals and other lucky items on the fortune telling hut with prices ranging from 100 to 1,000. And the general process is to first attract traffic through free fortune telling live streams and videos, and then started to recommend these crystals to them. And for another student, university student who's doing this business, actually he charges 60 yuan for a single question, 140 yuan for a series of questions in one aspect. And guess what? For love-related fortune-telling questions, it costs 360 yuan, which, lucrative.
Right. So I would see this as maybe two separate sectors of business. One is peering into the future, so fortune telling, and the other is I need some good luck. Whatever you can do for me, and I'll pay up if it's like not too much, but of course it depends on your income bracket and how much you're willing to shell out on something like this. But just this general practice is considered by a lot of people when we're sane-minded to be superstition and sometimes scams, but it's also a practice as old as time. So what you make of it?
For me, I am not that person who believes in
no bracelet at all.
No bracelet at all. Actually, one of my friends, she spent like 1,500 yuan for a bracelet to find her a good guy, But after 2 years, she's still single. But but I can see that why she's willing to spend that much of money. It offers her a kind of psychological comfort, a solace to make her feel better. And to see that the future is bright. You will find the right, Mr. Right. But for me, I think most of the time this fortune telling lacks scientific basis. And also we are seeing a lot of AI fortune telling services around on the internet. And I guess we can say that some people, they do have the psychic abilities to tell your fortune. Maybe some people believe that.
I don't believe
that.
Though.
In the case of AI, I cannot believe that these machines can have psychic abilities. So we should be cautious about these fortune telling scams around on the internet. And actually, China, the Cyberspace Administration of China, from last year also launched a series of measures to regulate these online content involving these superstitions and fortune telling scams.
Yeah, what you just said, it sounds exactly like what my friend told me a couple of years ago. And
And that's when I realized this is fertile ground for, just a lot of money to be made using very easy scams. Because just look at a certain age of women. If you're not married and, if you tick the boxes of white collar, living in a city alone, blah, 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 I think it's really easy to profile what she's like. And she's here to see a fortune teller and willing to pay for it. Oh, she's got grievances, and most possibly it's relationship stuff or maybe health stuff or something like that. And my friend went to one of these places, and she was recommended by some other, I would say, bad people, saying that,他很准. So this guy has got it accurate. And it's a lot of money you have to pay to see this person. Anyway, she decided to do that. And she said, 他真的很准. He's got it correct, because the first couple of lines, he said, you had a very bad relationship, and you are destined for something good, and that will happen next year, or something along those lines. And she's paid at least 4 digits in yuan for that. And I was like, you're smart. I can say that. That's what I always say to you. But yeah, so it's just, and people really do fall for these things. And when you look at China's single population, men and women who are looking for a relationship but not that desperate just to settle with anyone, you're all potential customers, so be aware.
Yes, and to both of your friends, actually, in the case of encountering mystical fraud, consumers should have safety evidence such as chat records and transfer records. And if the value of the fraud exceeds 3,000 yuan, you can actually report it to the police and get your money back. So to both of your friends, this is what you can do. And in the meantime, I think when it comes to the majority of the young people who are trying out this fortune-telling gig for a little bit, I don't think they believe in it that much, except for the situation where they're very anxious or in a way a little bit desperate to certain matter. They have exhausted all of their ways to solve the problem. They can only put it in the hands of the superpower out there. And in the meantime, that is one situation. But for most people, it's more of a fun and entertainment mean, which is why when I was doing the research, I even found several podcasts teaching you knowledge about fortune telling in different systems, the horoscope system, the traditional Chinese fortune telling system, and I have already put many of them on my list so I can learn about several of the quote-unquote knowledge or tips. So when I chat with my friends, I can share with them the kind of info that they need to give them a little bit of, positivity and let them believe that the future is bright. And when it comes to the law of attraction, if you believe in the good things that will happen in your life, they will happen.
And Niu Honglin, being the amazing and good person she is, she could perfectly go up the path and stream of being an angel. Or if by some twist of mind one day she decides, I'll go down the devil's path, well, you know how she will manipulate you, or how she can manipulate you. And if I can offer you part 2 to my friend's story, it was a year later, and she was like, still no guy, just like your friend, Xinyu. And no great guy, I guess. And she was like, I think now I kind of know what happened. I was like, good girl. Finally, you want to call the police or, consumer association for a complaint or whatever. I don't think she was going to do it. And also, pass the statute of limitation or anyway, whatever. And she was like, you know what? He really offered me some consolation and comfort at the time. And I otherwise probably would be paying for a psychiatrist, and I paid for that hour with the fortune teller. So, you know what? All right. It's money. I wouldn't say well spent, but sure, I'm all right in bearing the consequences. And I guess it's all that matters. So unfortunately, no consumer complaints, and that guy will continue to, or who knows? Maybe he's not doing this business anymore. So we have established that, for various reasons, people resort to these kind of services. Do you have a last word
of advice or suggestion or just some comments to, those who are contemplating that, this is maybe I want to do or maybe not. So do you have something to say?
I think for me also, though I don't believe these supernatural powers, but when something bad happens or things are not going quite well, I would sometimes blame it on Mercury retrograde, or in Chinese, 水逆. I would think this because of it's this period, so I am not experiencing good stuff or good things. But in the meantime, I always believe that maybe after this Mercury retrograde, good things will happen. So I think this can be some kind of psychological comfort, as we talked about, for these young people.
Alrighty.
And when it comes to spending a reasonable amount of money to make you feel better, no matter if it's a psychiatrist or a fortune teller, it is fine. But at the end of the day, you have to work to create your own bright future, and it will happen to you.
I like that. And people seek fortune telling for a sense of reassurance and guidance in the face of life's uncertainties, desiring a glimpse into the unknown. It provides a comforting illusion of control and a narrative that offers solace in navigating the unpredictable journey of life. And in my humble opinion, the truest compass lies within. Trust your instincts, don't lose your thinking cap, embrace the unknown, and find strength in your own resilience. This little thing called life is woven with both shadows and light. It's the interplay that makes your story uniquely yours. So keep walking with courage and curiosity. You're listening to Roundtable. Coming up next, Motivational Monday.
Motivational Mondays.
I'm ready for the gym, which I never go to. So, sorry. Xingyu, what do you have for us?
Okay. My Motivational Monday today is a quote from an American period drama called Lessons in Chemistry, released this year. And this is based on the novel of the same name by a 66-year-old female author, Bonnie Garmus. And this TV series stars Brie Larson, better known for her role as Captain Marvel. And the story was set in the 1950s when a woman's dream of being a scientist was challenged by the society, which believed that women belong only in the domestic sphere, not in the labs, and women should be content as housewives. And after a series of struggles that obstructed the protagonist's dream as a chemist, she finally accepts a job as a host of a cooking show. But she sets out to teach a nation of these overlooked housewives way more than recipes. She uses this platform to inspire women to challenge the status quo. And the quote goes like this, a bit long, but it's very inspiring. Whenever you feel afraid, just remember, courage is the root of change, and change is what we are chemically designed to do. So when you wake up tomorrow, make this pledge. No more holding yourself back. No more subscribing to others' opinions of what you can and cannot achieve. And no more allowing anyone to pigeonhole you into useless categories of sex, race, economic status, and religion. Do not allow your talents to lie dormant, ladies. Design your own future. When you go home today, ask yourself what you will change and then get started.
Are you ready for some change? You'll hold in.
Yes,
women power. Yeah, and that's a really good recommendation of a TV series that you can look out for. And thank you so much, Xingyu. And Yo Lin, I know you always have something amazing prepared, but I'm sorry to say maybe I'll need to go first, and because what I have to share today has to be shared today. I want to share with you my favorite Christmas song. Oh, thanks, girls, on Christmas Day. So before I do, I also want to bring your attention to the holiday music business, which is worth an estimated $177 million a year in the U.S. alone. So what makes Christmas music so lucrative? I call it the Christmas cash cow. Well, it's clearly a reliable moneymaker. After all, the best way to spread holiday joy is singing out loud for
for all to hear every year at this time for at least 1 month. And nostalgia is certainly one factor to Christmas music success. But being tied to another form of media helps solidify it as a classic. It doesn't hurt, for example, that the song I'm going to share with you is featured in the Christmas blockbuster Love Actually, and that sort of both sustained and also catapulted the song into another echelon of popularity and really kept it in people's collective consciousness if you grew up in the English-speaking world, I suppose. And so, yeah, my favorite Christmas song is from 1994, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. This song is a monster revenue driver. The real genius of Mariah, though, is that she's the performer, co-writer, and co-producer on this Christmas classic. So she's got money coming in 3 different ways. And a report from the New York Post estimated that she makes around $3 million every year from the song. And in 2021, it was claimed that Mariah has raked in more than $60 million from All I Want for Christmas Is You, and she continues to profit from the track, and it will without doubt offer as a key slice of her pension once she decides to retire. So alongside that, big shout outs to Juliette Morgan in San Francisco, Francis Bush in the City of Lights, Paris, and Doris Hussein tuning in all the way from the beautiful Tanzania. Thank you for emailing us and sharing your love for the show. To all our listeners around the world celebrating Christmas, may your days be merry and your hearts be light. Wishing you a season filled with love, peace, and cherished moments from all of us at Roundtable. Let's jingle all the way with Mariah Carey's timeless Christmas jam,
Not he who fights 100 battles and wins every one of them. The best military strategy does not lead to the desiccation of the enemy's capital city. Decoding the art of war will help you understand why there's no art in war and how Sun Tzu stayed undefeatable using the science of war, with fun stories and insightful breakdown of famous battles. Tune in to Decoding the Art of War on Spotify.
Are you interested in learning Chinese? I always tell my students that listening is the key to mastering the language. Check out Takeaway Chinese, where you can start learning the language quickly and enjoyably, no matter if you're lucky or a sophisticated Chinese learner.
我来北京5年了，我是本地人。
There is definitely something that will interest you. Check out Takeaway Chinese. The world starts with 你好.
A kínai nemzetközi rádió. Pekingből közvetítjük magyar nyelvű adásunkat.
Jó estet kívánunk, kedves hallgatóink! A kínai nemzetközi rádió hétfői adás.
Brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
Dong Yu with you on this Monday, December 25th, 2023. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, coming to you live from the Chinese. Today's program, camping gas, classes, earthquake knowledge and survival skills for children in earthquake-hit areas in northwest China. Somalia's infrastructure has sustained heavy damages in rains and flash flooding. In business, China's zero-tariff treatment for 6 least developed African countries. In sports, Xinjiang clinches its 10th consecutive CBA win. In culture and entertainment, a Sanxingdui-themed animation to open in Chinese theaters. Now, today's top stories. Health authorities in Gaza say an Israeli strike on a refugee camp has killed at least 70 people. They say many more are buried under the rubble. Hamas is calling it a new war crime. Israel's military says it's reviewing the attack. The bombing came as Egypt proposed a three-phase deal that includes another hostage exchange and a 14-day truce. Associated Press reporter Isabel Debris has more.
The Israeli military said that 15 Israeli soldiers had been killed in its ground offensive in Gaza since Friday, making this the bloodiest weekend for Israel since the start of its ground offensive in October. And of course, it's important to keep in mind the death toll on the Palestinian side now surpasses over 20,000. Right now, the Israeli public does support the war, but the death toll could always test that level of support. Right now, we have seen increasing anger over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government. At the same time, as the war goes on, Netanyahu has vowed to just continue and says even though the troops have suffered a very heavy blow, the war will not stop. And this has also raises very serious concerns for the humanitarian situation, which only gets more desperate by the day. And we're seeing some really, really desperate scenes of people fighting over bread, trying to really chaotic lines for just a little bit of soup, people waiting for very long hours just to get some water. That's happening in the south, this very overcrowded shelters. And meanwhile, in the north, the WHO, World Health Organization, says that hospitals are not even functioning. People are just trying to stop the bleeding or send them to evacuate south because at this point there are no supplies, there's no fuel, and there's just not enough to keep these patients alive in the north.
That was Isabel Debris with the Associated Press. A United Nations resolution is calling for efforts to boost aid into Gaza. The number of trucks entering the region is far from enough, and the humanitarian supplies can reach only a small amount of the population. Displaced residents are struggling to find shelter.
Previously, I was in the Gaza City and I came here to this branch. As a displaced person, yesterday, the occupation dropped leaflets demanding us to evacuate. Now, I don't know where I will go. I have no other place.
I don't know where we will go next. There is no place left for us. They invaded the Gaza City and expelled us. And now it is the turn of the central region. We can't take it anymore. We can barely find food for ourselves. They want us to go to Rafah in the south, which is overcrowded with the displaced. Here, even in the central region, we can hardly find a place to stay.
Even if the residents manage to get to southern Gaza, they will very likely face a shortage of food and soaring prices because of a lack of aid. The World Health Organization says the healthcare system in Gaza is under attack. WHO officials have visited 4 hospitals, including Al-Shifa, once the largest hospital in the region. Sean Casey is the WHO Emergency Medical Team Coordinator. He says the hostilities and massive numbers of injured people have lowered the hospital's capacities significantly.
I'm back in Al-Shifa, the largest hospital in Gaza, for the 3rd time this week, where it's still a case of absolute misery. With people still on the floors, it's almost impossible to walk. Critical cases, doctors and nurses absolutely scrambling, people crying out that they need blood for their son and daughter who are dying. There's almost nothing that this team can do, this very small clinical team can do to help all of these people. It's absolute chaos still.
The WHO officials delivered over 19,000 liters of fuel to the hospital for generating electricity to help revive vital services such as surgeries. Al-Shifa is also providing refuge to 50,000 displaced people. Only 9 hospitals in Gaza are partially functional. Noor Harazin has been taking shelter inside one of such facilities. She tells us about the worsening situation.
Me actually being here inside the Al-Aqsa hospital for more than 2 months now, and we witness with our own eyes how the situation inside the hospitals is just going from bad to worse. Talking about northern Gaza, and out of 22 hospitals, there is 0 hospitals that are now operating. The only hospital which is actually operating in northern Gaza is Al-Shifa Hospital, and it is only operating as a refugee camp for those displaced families. There is rarely any services for those injured or the patient. Here in the south, there is 4 main hospitals in Rafah, Khan Yunis, and also here in Deir al-Balah. However, the system has collapsed inside the hospital. I mean, here inside the Al-Aqsa hospital, this hospital was designed to service 350,000 people. However, now this hospital is serving more than 800,000 patients patients and people injured inside the hospital. So yes, the healthcare system here in Gaza has totally collapsed.
That was Noor Harzin reporting from Gaza. A delegation from a militant group allied with Hamas has joined talks in Egypt. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement is known to be holding some of the in Gaza. The group says negotiation will center on ways to end Israeli aggression. The PIJ has rejected any new prisoner swap deals with Israel unless Israel ends its offensive in Gaza. The Houthi rebels of Yemen have renewed their warnings to the U.S. forces in the Red Sea. They urge the U.S. forces to leave the area quickly before it becomes what they described as a burning arena. The warning came as the U.S. accused the Houthis of attacking a crude oil tanker owned by Gabon with a drone. The Houthis has denied the accusation, claiming it was a U.S. naval destroyer that was behind a missile attack against its plane. The Houthi spokesperson has denounced the by the U.S. and its partners. Bethlehem is suffering one of its bleakest holiday seasons because of the conflict in Gaza. The town revered as the birthplace of Jesus Christ is having muted or no Christmas celebrations at all. Feng Yilei reports.
No festive lights, no colorful parade, Christmas Eve. Instead, the mood is somber.
Bishop Council decided not to make a big celebration as a sign of solidarity with the victims of the war. We cannot do it in the street. So we need, in this difficult time, to strengthen our people by the prayer. And we continue celebrating spiritually the Christmas. But inside our hearts.
About a mile from the Church of the Nativity, Shepherd's Field is another significant holy site in Bethlehem where the angel first announced on Jesus' birth. Usually around Christmas, it is packed with hundreds of groups of international pilgrims, but this year they have been replaced by an abnormal tranquility, reminding people of the impact of the conflict.
The repercussions are also being felt beyond the church steps. Local vendors face a devastating risk.
They open just for getting fresh air because this wood carvings, they can't be stay in the dark all the time, and the main source of income is tourists. So people are suffering from this situation, and no jobs, no work because of the lack of tourism.
Hotels in Bethlehem, boasting over 5,000 rooms, are usually fully booked during this peak season. Safety concerns and travel restrictions are driving widespread cancellations.
Today is nothing, maybe 6-7 rooms in each hotel. More than half is closed. It's cheaper for them than they open, because if they are open, they need some 4-5 employees and they didn't get their money.
While a few tourists are still arriving, they remain wary.
It's not we don't know what is happening.
Authorities say more than 70% of the local economy is tied to tourism. They estimate a loss of about $200 million by year's end in some sectors.
It's about the aggression against our people in Gaza Strip. Since that time, the tourism sector was stopped. Even if we continue with having these celebrations, I believe that we will receive 0 visitors because West Bank under military closure, and Bethlehem is isolated now than other Palestinian cities.
Bethlehem's Christmas festivities have traditionally mirrored the state of Israeli-Palestinian relations. It's widely believed economic recovery can only come with the arrival of real peace.
That was Feng Yilei in Bethlehem. Coming up, classes have resumed online in earthquake-hit areas in northwest China.
Dive into news like never before with Deep Dive, the podcast from CGTN Radio. Join our global reporters for captivating stories and thought-provoking conversations. Search Deep Dive on your favorite podcast platforms and get ready to dive in.
It's 11 minutes past the hour. And Jishishan County in northwest China have mourned the victims of the 6.2 magnitude earthquake. They observed 3 minutes of silence and laid flowers during the ceremony. The earthquake has killed 149 people in Gansu and Qinghai provinces. Classes have resumed online for students in earthquake-hit areas. One focus is the children's mental well-being and training them with survival skills. Guo Tianqi joined one of the classes near the epicenter in Gansu province.
非常好。